Welcome back to part 6 of What If Krillin Got the Buff Form. I'm JordanTheWolf. Guys, I just want to say something. I am grateful to all of you. 100 subscribers. I did not even think I was gonna get freaking 10. But your support for my channel and your support for my videos makes me want to keep going and shoot for the next big goal. Alright, on to the recap. Alright, quick recap real quick. We had the battles with Android 19, Dr. Gero, the awakening of the 3 androids. And now, just like in canon, we had the fight between the androids and the Z fighters, which got way closer than expected. But overall, due to the infinite energy engine, the Z fighters would be tired out, but would survive. Having said this, where we left off, Piccolo was heading up to the lookout to fuse with Kami. Will this be enough? We'll have to wait and see. And we'll see, with a certain bug monster coming very soon, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so where we last left off in our scenario, Piccolo rushed off to the lookout. He knew what he had to do. He would rush to go see Kami. Kami, anticipating this, would begin a dialogue with him, as they begin to discuss the idea of merger. They knew the threat of the androids. However, Kami gave him a warning. He felt another disturbing energy. He wasn't sure what it was, but he felt it was a much worse threat than the androids. And after a bit more dialogue, and the understanding that the DragonBallz would be no more, the 2 Namekians would look upon each other as Piccolo placed his hand on Kami's chest, and the merger began. The 2 Namekians had fused, becoming the unnamed Namekian they once were. Now, let's get on to the dialogue, and let me tell you how strong this version of Piccolo is. As you can remember from the last part of the scenario, the Z fighters had actually put up a much better fight against the androids, including Piccolo, who had picked up on the Kaioken. He is much stronger than his original canon, and therefore is going to be much stronger than his original standings. He is far above where he was prior, and it's about to make the scenario a lot more interesting. With newfound vigor, he would fly down to the earth, knowing now he can definitely defeat the androids, stamina issues or not. With this sheer power boost and alongside the Kaioken, he knew for a fact this time he could best the androids. Having said this, he would soon find a very particular bug monster. Just like canon, he would witness the individual who would be crying out for help, raising money to ask for help from Piccolo, only to witness him drain, reduced to nothing but a pair of clothes, motionless, and fade away, as the bug monster stared at Piccolo, laughing. "Hello, Piccolo." Just like in canon, they would begin a discussion for a moment before beginning their battle. Piccolo and Cell would begin a skirmish as Piccolo fired off a blast, and then they would head into the air, beginning to collide with each other, going for blow, blasting and causing explosions, trailing and impacting, Cell being launched into a building as Piccolo chased after him, slamming his fist against the bug monster's head. However, the bug monster would get a surprise attack, injecting his tail within Piccolo's arm, starting to drain him. However, unlike the original canon, Piccolo would grab the tail and rip it off, causing the bug monster to panic. Then, we would see future Gohan and Krillin show up, just like how Trunks and Krillin did in the original scenario. And then, Cell had an idea as he jumped into the air and performed a solar flare to escape just in the nick of time, knowing if he stayed any longer, he would have been murdered. Getting away, which would infuriate Piccolo as he had him in his class. He could have defeated this bug monster. He could have eaten. And now to mention what he had told Piccolo during the discussion that I failed to mention earlier. He was telling him about the androids and what his name was. Cell. So now the Z fighters would depart, heading off to figure out what they can do at the moment, heading to Kame House. Speaking about our hero of the scenario, we're going to be delving into what Krillin and future Gohan are going to be doing. Just like how future Trunks and Krillin did in the original, they would head to Gero's lab and find out about the underground laboratory, bringing back blueprints, and shortly after destroying the laboratory, returning to Capsule Corp with the blueprints in hand. Also, an event will occur that occurred only originally in filler, but will occur in this scenario, which would be the hangar issue. When Cell would go to an aircraft hangar to absorb more people, he would be stopped again, just like in the filler, by Krillin. As Krillin goes toe to toe with imperfect Cell, letting the woman and her child flee on an airplane as they duke it out. While base to base, he would not be able to match imperfect Cell, he would quickly bulk up and begin to clobber upon the giant bug, who was chasing after the airplane, attempting to absorb them. Krillin would do a dragon throw as he would fling him into a building, going through the hangar as Krillin chased after him, charged up within his hand a massive Destructo Disc and flung it at Cell, who did not have time to dodge it, and in fact, got cut in half by the massive Destructo Disc, cleaving the bug monster in half. However, we all know that cutting him in half simply would not be enough, as soon enough, Cell would regenerate shortly after this, but he did have to admit, that caught him off guard and he was surprised that skill would be enough to cut him in half. But then he chuckled, reminding Krillin he can do the same. As Cell would launch a Destructo Disc of his own, flinging it at the bald monk, who just in the nick of time dodged it and growled as they both charged at each other once more. However, in the skirmish, Krillin would ignite into a Kaioken, smacking Cell. The two adversaries looked each other in their eyes as they began to charge their Kamehamehas respectively, igniting in bright auras and firing two massive Kamehamehas, clashing, going back and forth, pushing, and then Krillin pushes his beam towards Cell, lifting him into the air, blasting him, tearing him apart, sending the android flying. Was it over? He can only figure. It might have been. The bald monk dropped to a knee, taking heavy breaths as he dissipated out of the Kaioken, looking upwards, believing it was over, as he would then see a very battered and wounded figure, Cell panting, grinding, and clutching on to life, began to regenerate and fled off into the sky before Krillin could do anything. Cell had escaped, and Krillin damned himself. If he had just maintained his stamina just a little longer, he would have got it done. But now he wondered, where's that monster gonna go? As he passed out, with Tien and Piccolo showing up to the scene only moments after. After being recovered by Tien and Piccolo, Krillin would be carried off to the lookout with the others, as they'd all begun to devise a plan, as Mr. Popo would bring up the idea of the Room of Spirit and Time. Now here's the thing, in this timeline there's no Vegeta, and who would be the first ones to enter the time chamber? Well, originally Gohan and Goku were planning to go together, but with future Gohan in the mix, they wanted to figure something out. But Krillin would be the one to step up in this case, alongside future Gohan, helping Goku make the decision of which Gohan to bring in with him, as future Gohan and Krillin enter the chamber. And thus, just like that, they would head off into the Room of Spirit and Time to get some training for one whole year. Now, for some context, Krillin knew he needed to get stronger and he needed to get better stamina control. As well, he knew future Gohan himself wanted to get stronger in order to defeat the androids. And with facing Cell firsthand, he knew he needed a strong partner. He knew Goku needed to train the younger Gohan, so he felt this was the best course of action he can do. Better modify and further increase his stamina and resilience alongside a Super Saiyan. In addition, he'll be able to help Gohan improve his Super Saiyan form. Not by much, in Stevens, he's not exactly going to get him to grade 4. However, showing him a little bit of inspiration, as the max power form would show Gohan if he swells up in mass a bit more, he can increase his power. So inadvertently, he would be learning Super Saiyan grade 2 as he began to train further and further with Krillin throughout the year. As they fought back and forth, Krillin using Kaioken in the buff form to challenge the Super Saiyan future Gohan, and forcing him to try to bulk up, trying to increase, bring in the more ki as possible in order to bulk up. Gohan would be learning not only better increase his Super Saiyan form as he accessed grade 2, and was even flirting around with the idea of grade 3, he would also start learning some techniques from Krillin, things he can pick up on, such as the Destructo Disc and the shocking Kamehameha, and even one that took him quite a while, but it was more towards the end of the training, which was the Mafuba, just in case things went south. And in turn, future Gohan would provide Krillin a much needed opponent, as he would bulk up and use Kaioken to duel against Super Saiyan grade 2 Gohan as they collided within the air and traded off Kamehamehas. Future Gohan bulking up as he collides and smashes his fist against Krillin's head, launching him into the temple, as Krillin would fly back at him, launching a Destructo Disc, which Gohan dodges. As a torrent of red explosive ki ignite into a Kaioken times 50 stacked upon his buff form, and he pushed it further, times 60, as he charged and smashed into Gohan, sending him far into the void as he flew after him, colliding once more. A large shockwave emanated within the room. After their sparring session, they both collapsed upon the ground, panting and tired, praising each other for their brilliance. You know, Krillin, you remind me of my Krillin from my time, and after 1 year, they would exit the chamber, much more powerful than before, holding each other up as they exited, clothes torn apart, and they're walking out battered. But they are much stronger than before, and we will see where this leads us. And we will see where this takes us in the next part, in part 7 of What If Krillin Got the Buff Form. Hey, I know, and I apologize for this part taking forever to come out. Believe me, I've been trying to get it out sooner, but I've been having issues trying to record, having peaceful time, as family members come over and neighbors are quite noisy in the background. It's hard to record at times. But I am glad I was able to get this going. I hope you guys will enjoy this part. Be mindful of, because I can't always get these out as much as I want to, but I'm trying to get them out. I will continue to do so in the future. Now, what do you think is going to happen in the next part? Do you think this training is going to be enough? What do you think should happen in the next encounter with Cell? What is the fate of the androids? What will happen to Gohan? Will he achieve his potential just like the original canon? Will our future Gohan end it quickly? Who knows? We'll see in the next part. Catch you later, everybody. JordanTheWolf signing out.